And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and I know it's been a while since I've done a rugby video. Obviously, of course, because it is the off season for Major League Rugby. Not a lot has been going on with the women's and men's USA Eagles side for the 15s at least. There is a lot of rugby sevens action, and usually I'd be doing something about that with my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, just because of the way the schedule is, the women's are taking part in the Tier 1 while the men are fighting their way through Tier 2 as we speak. It's just a little bit of discombobulation, so I've basically been focusing more on the 15 side. Not to say that I won't be focusing on some other Rugby Sevens events that will be going on in our country, but we are just a month away from the beginning of the 9th Major League Rugby season, the 2026 season, and I'm super excited for that. This is going to be my my 4th season of covering it through my YouTube channel, so I'm very, very excited about that as well. And this is, as you can see, preview part 1 of technically 4. I'm going to be doing the next, this week and the next 2 weeks, previewing the 6 teams. And of course, if you haven't been really following what's been going on in the off season, unfortunately, Major League Rugby going through, I'm going to be very, very nice by saying a downsizing of the league. We had 11 teams, now down to 6. Which of course I'll go into great detail as I preview each of the 6 teams. I'm going to be doing 2 teams each week for the next 3 weeks, concluding this one. And then of course, week number 4, which will be the opening week, which will kick off Saturday, March 28th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, with our very first game of season number 9, Anthem Rugby Carolina, going to the new California Legion, which is, of course, in my hometown, or at least one of the games, or 2 of the games are, which, of course, I'll go into that in detail when we talk about the California Legion, but that will be kicking off a very interesting week 1, kinda, of the season. Again, I'll go more into details of that as we get on with it. But, again, very excited to be talking about Major League Rugby. Again, if you're new to the channel, I welcome you. If you have some friends that you want to get into Major League Rugby, please pass along my video, let them know about it, hit the like button, subscribe if you can, and that will help me out tremendously. So, as I mentioned before, we are previewing all 6 teams to a week. So we are starting off, obviously I feel where would be the best way to start is with your reigning, defending, 3-time Major League Rugby champions, the New England FreeJacks. What more can we say? They are right now the standard of the best of the best of the best here in Major League Rugby. The very first ever 3-time, not only first ever 3-time Major League Rugby champions, but the first team to ever win back-to-back Major League Rugby titles as well. Last season, of course, they finished 11-5, 55 points. They finished first in the East. Of course, they play all their games at the Veterans Memorial Stadium, 5,000 seating capacity. They have the returning of Major League Rugby's 2025 Coach of the Year, Ryan Martin. This is technically going to be his 3rd year. After 2 stints, technically, as the New England's coach. He came to New England back in 2021, only stayed a year, then left, and then came back last season in 2024, and won New England a 3rd Major League Rugby Shield, earning himself the Coach of the Year award. It should be noted that former player Josh Larson is now going to be the defensive coach for the New England FreeJacks, so that's a big movement in the coaching staff. The team itself, so lots of names coming back, and we'll go over every team. We're going to be going over players that are obviously coming back, new players, and then big departures from the team. And there are a couple of big ones for New England, but also a couple of big names coming in as well. So coming back, where best place to start is the former 2024 MVP of Major League Rugby, Wayne Vanderbank. Big try scorer for the team, big presence on the pitch. Kyle Sikera is coming back, the mullet of Major League Rugby, very strong prop. Joe Johnson, also a reliable captain of New England FreeJacks. He's going to come back as well. New names. Actually, let's go. A name that is technically new, but also not new. He is returning. Mitchie Wilson has come back to New England. He had a stint in Anthem, a very reliable fullback, capped USA Eagles. And now, new players. I want to put a little preface because the league has now downsized from 11 teams to 6. You're going to see kind of a running theme with a lot of the remaining teams that a lot of their rosters are now going to be composed of some of the best of the teams that are no longer around. You're going to see the remaining 16 kind of picked at the remains of the teams that went defunct. So your Utahs, your Houstons, your Miamis, your NOLA Golds. You're going to see a lot of those players scattered amongst the remaining 6, and a good chunk of certain teams moving to other teams. So especially in the case of Houston and Utah, a lot of those players kind of stayed together as they moved to teams. So, a lot of people looking at the gloom and doom of the league being reduced down from 11 to 6, which, yes, that is definitely a step or two backwards. But when you look at the positive side of this, and I know speaking on behalf of the players as a financial thing, obviously less spots to play. Less roster spots for a big player pool, especially domestic players. Even though Major League Rugby just recently changed the international spots per team, they've reduced it down so more domestic players are able to play. But you are going to see now, instead of a lot of players, especially Eagles players, being spread out amongst 11 teams, you're going to see basically the best of the best condensed down to 6 teams. So competition, when I talk about in my final week previewing, as well as my way too early predictions of how I feel the teams are going to end up at the end of the season, you're going to see 6 very, very competitive teams because the best of the best players are going to be amongst those rosters. So I doubt, even when it comes to Anthem Rugby Carolina, who have yet to win a game, I doubt you're going to see blowout games like you have in prior seasons. I feel every game, for the majority, are going to be very, very close, played down to the wire. So it's going to be a very exciting season, I feel. So going now, players that are new to Utah, I mentioned to New England. I mentioned Mitchie Wilson coming back. His brother Bailey Wilson from the Utah Warriors, former captain with 80 Major League Rugby cap appearances, has joined New England. So we have the Wilson brothers together. You also have some big names from DC, which is going to be the team I'm going to preview next. They're bringing over, which is kind of funny because this is almost DC and New England are kind of the crosstown rivals, and you're having a big coup as not only is big Jameson Fontanano Schultz, who has usually been synonymous with DCO glory, a veteran and a capped Eagle. He has popped over now to New England, and joining him as well is Ethan McVeigh, former DC player, standout scrum half for the USA Eagles. He is also moving over to New England. So kind of a big coup from DC to have those 2 players moving over to New England. And then Nate Sylvia, former capped Eagle prop from San Diego, has joined the New England FreeJacks. And then this is the big name from Utah as well, along with Bailey Wilson, Joe Hodgson, who easily was last year probably the reason why Utah had so much success. Joe Hodgson, a longtime veteran of English rugby, has been playing in Major League Rugby now for at least 3 years with Utah. Top 5 point scorer last season with Utah. Just a phenomenal veteran and leader on the pitch. I think that's a big get for New England, and they're going to need it because now let's go over the players that are leaving New England, and you can't get any bigger than former Major League Rugby Player of the Year in 2023, easily the man of the year for New England's very first Shield, and prior Shields after that, Jason Patros. He has been easily the best player for New England in all three of New England's championship wins. He is leaving. Sad to see such a talent like Jason Patros go. He is leaving, so obviously that's a big hole that needs to be filled. Will Joe Hodgson be able to fill that? We'll see. It brings me back to a couple of years back when I first started getting into Major League Rugby. New England, before they won a Shield, they had a really big run in the championship, and they had a player on the team, Bodine Waka. So phenomenal, so good. He won MVP Player of the Year, MVP Major League Rugby Player of the Year in 2022. And then after his run with New England, he left. When he left, I predicted that without Bodine Waka, New England, who was on the verge of greatness, was going to now go back to mediocrity. Little did I know that when Bodine Waka left, along came a guy by the name of Jason Patros, who easily took Bodine Waka's place and then some, and led to New England winning 3 championships and making me look like a fool with that. So, it could be possible that Joe Hodgson becomes the new Jason Patros. With Jason Patros leaving, that is a big hole for New England, but Joe Hodgson could fill that up. Now, another player that's leaving, that's kind of a big thing, Leroux Milan is leaving as well. Very talented South African player. He's going back to Super Rugby to play for the Sharks. He is the former Back of the Year. He won that in 2025. Last season, so Leroux Milan no longer with New England. And then a couple of interesting departures. I try to do some research on figuring out what happened to them, but they're pretty much MIA. Paula Belakana, the flying Fijian, talented winger, one of the top try scorers and point scorers in Major League Rugby history. He was also last year's MVP Major League Rugby Player of the Year. So he, interestingly enough, not re-signing with New England. I don't know where he's going, if he's gone back to Fiji. I've tried to check social media, no clue. He is gone. And then Jed Melvin, who came out of nowhere last season from New Zealand, flanker, scored 8 tries for New England, one of the top try scorers for the FreeJacks. If it wasn't for Paula Belakana scoring 12, Jed Melvin would have been the driving force behind New England. So 2 really powerful offensive weapons gone from New England. Again, it will be interesting to see how New England bounces back with those 2 offensive weapons gone, with a guy like Jason Patros gone. But Joe Hodgson, not a slouch. Wayne Vanderbank is still there. It is funny to see that New England has had, with Paula Belakana, with Jason Patros, with Wayne Vanderbank, with Bodine Waka, they've had 4 MVPs of the year in a row for Major League Rugby. So New England has always been a very well-oiled machine. Again, they also have the returning of their head coach, Ryan Martin. You know, if there's anyone to have faith in, that he will know what to do with the team to make sure that they don't lose any of their high standards, it would be Coach Martin. But New England going into season right now, in my opinion, and I'll talk about this more when I talk about my way too early predictions for the end of the season, I think New England still is the top class act of the league and definitely the team to take down as we approach the 2026 Major League season. Now, because they are the crosstown rival, the other team I'm going to be previewing in this video, Old Glory DC. Now, Glory DC had a pretty good season last season, finished 8-8. That earned them a 3rd seed in the East. They lost to Chicago in the playoffs. They play in George Mason Stadium, 5,000-seater. Head coach is Simon Cross, Scottish player, was the Worcester Warriors coach back in 2013 to 2022 before making his transition over to Major League Rugby. This will be his 3rd year as head coach for Old Glory DC. Going over players that are coming back, we have Corey Daniels, big capped USA Eagle. Tavita Nagali, also capped USA Eagle, coming back. Of course, good friend of the YouTube channel, Jason Ewok Emery, coming back for Old Glory DC, formerly played for RFCLA. Top point scorer for the team, 62 points. Very, very capable fly half. Jason Robertson, another capable fly half. Honestly, he had a phenomenal season in 2024. 136 points scored that season. He made the record for the most points scored by a DC Old Glory player. Unfortunately, last season he suffered a season-ending injury after I believe week 5. So Jason Emery had to be the main fly half. I believe Jason Robertson, coming back from injury, will be the starting fly half. But hey, Jason Ewok Emery, not a bad person to have as backup. Connor Buckley also on the team, talented scrum half. Rob Hartley is going to be the captain of Old Glory DC. From the Scottish player, former Glasgow Warrior. This will be year 3 for him in Old Glory DC. And then Perry Humphreys, vice captain, English winger fullback, has played all his time in Old Glory. This will also be year 3 for him as well. New players, and they got a couple of them. Again, some former players from other teams. Max Schumacher, fly half and fullback, formerly of the Houston SaberCats. He is a UC Berkeley alum. He is a former second pick overall in the 2023 MLR draft, which is funny because new teammate for him is Rick Rose, who, formerly of Miami, was a 2023 first round draft pick overall for the league when he went to Miami. So Old Glory DC now has both the first and the second overall picks from the 2023 draft. Rick Rose, formerly of St. Bonaventures, a lock. Didn't get a lot of time to play for Miami, but he is a talent to keep an eye on. Ben Bonasso, also formerly of Miami Sharks, flanker, a capped USA Eagles. He was vice captain for Miami. He definitely has a leadership presence on the pitch. Also had a couple of stints in Rugby New York before moving over to Miami. Paul Mullins, another capped talented Eagle, formerly of the Utah Warriors, a capital prop. Semi Kunatani, a very, very strong Fijian, former Olympian gold medalist with the Fijian team in the Fiji Rugby Sevens team, was the top point scorer and try scorer for RFCLA 2 years ago. Very, very good player. When I talk to the boys in RFCLA, Semi Kunatani's name is usually the one that pops up when I ask them, who do you not want to take a tackle from? Semi Kunatani hits hard, plays hard, big pickup for DC Old Glory. Ross Depperschmidt, also a great player from New Orleans. Along with him, Jordan Jackson Hope, Australian, formerly of the Brumbies, formerly of New Orleans. And then finally, Jay Renton from Houston, a New Zealand international, formerly a black, formerly a New Zealand international player, scrum half, and he is now playing for Old Glory DC. Now, as for departures, we already mentioned a couple of them before. Jameson Fana-Schultz and Ethan McVeigh both leaving Old Glory DC. Those are kind of big losses for Old Glory. Axel Mueller, a very talented prop. He is going over to France to play for the French club RC Narbonne. He had 8 tries last season for Old Glory DC. He was their top try scorer. So Axel Mueller, definitely a driving force that Old Glory DC is going to miss. And then Tommaso Boni, one of my favorite capped Eagles of Italian descent. He is going back to Italy to play for the Series A Elite division for the Mogliano Veneto club. Serie A Elite is not the top tier, is the top tier Italian club league for Italy. So Tommaso Boni is playing for them. And then Jack Ascaro, another talented prop for Au Glory DC. He's leaving to go play for France for Stade Francais, which is one of the top French clubs in France. So a lot of strong players Au Glory DC is losing, but they're bringing in a lot of young, talented players. Some veteran players like Paul Mullins and Semi Kunatani. I think they're putting a lot of great players to replace the pieces that they lost. Again, when we preview some of the other teams, you're going to see that a lot of teams have stacked and I feel improved their team quite a bit. I don't know if we can say that Old Glory has improved as much as the rest of the teams. We'll see. Even when you look at a team like New England, I feel like they brought in Joe Hodgson and they brought in both Wilson brothers and, of course, Big Jamison involved on the Schultz. I think that's a huge coup still for New England to get from Old Glory DC. So I think New England kind of not necessarily upgraded up, but at least stayed consistent. And hey, they won a third straight title. So I don't think New England has to worry too much about improving much more than what they are. It's really if every other team can do better than them. So, but that's our preview for at least part 1, New England and Old Glory DC. Next week, we'll move on to part 2, and then, of course, finish off with part 3. And then, again, our last week, which will be during week 1 of the 9th season of Major League Rugby, the 2026 season, we will have our preview as well as our way too early predictions of how I feel the teams will end. That's always a fun YouTube video because you're going to see how off I am on my predictions because they usually are. But that's usually a lot of fun. And don't forget, the 2026 Major League Rugby season number 9 kicks off Saturday, March 28th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's only one game, just in odd scheduling. It's one game for week 1. Anthem Rugby Carolina playing at the California Legion. And then after that, everybody's going to be playing. I'll talk a little bit of how that scheduling may really give Anthem and the California Legion a much higher benefit, I think, than for the rest of the teams. But we'll go into that when we preview more of the season, as well as preview these two clubs. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, again, thank you very much for checking out my video. I do appreciate you coming back. I know it's been a while. We got so much rugby to talk about. Not only do we have Major League Rugby coming up, of course, we have the Pacific Nations Series with the Women's USA Eagles team. Recently announced the junior under 20s, I believe it's called now, the Junior World Rugby Cup is going to be playing as well during the summer. And then, of course, we have the new Nations Cup during the summer. And then, of course, we're going to be getting closer and closer to the 2027 Rugby World Cup, which will be next year. So a lot of rugby to talk about. I'm super, super stoked. And of course, this season is leading to its finale, which will be Saturday, June 21st. Just announced the championship will be played at the Chicago Hounds Stadium, SeatGeek Stadium in Chicago, Saturday, June 21st, which coincidentally happens to be somebody's birthday. So that's a pretty good birthday gift for myself. But yeah, again, we'll be having weekly videos again, preview Major League Rugby, as well as other rugby stuff going on in the States. So thank you very much again for your support. Tell people we are back. Rugby411 is back for the 2026 rugby season overall. And thank you very much for checking out my video. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you on the pitch.